Hello programmers and welcome to String Spec Part 2. We're going to walk through start of word and first word. And just so you don't get the idea that I'm pulling all this out of my head, like I sometimes seem to be able to do and magically have all the answers, actually most of the time what I'm doing is using the internet or a nice reference book that I may have beside me. Strings are all over the internet. This page is a great page to read it, and it tells you a little bit of things. Index of, last index of, char at, length, split, substring, substir. These are things that you can use. I just happen to know if you pass a -1, it works to give you the first n characters, counting from the back to the front. So I just happen to know that. And there's another couple documentation. WF3S Schools has a complete documentation as well as browser support and a little bit of examples. So if omitted extracts, where to stop the extraction. So I know that -1 works, so I know of that and I'm going to use that. So start of word, and let's close that for now. Start of word not defined. Start of word is not a function. And no. I skipped a step there. Okay, I declared the interface that's going to be used. Start of word is going to take a single number and a string and then a number. So if I take a word and then I go substring, and I pass in num, and I pass in -1, and return it, I get something unexpected. So sub. Interesting. So that's interesting. So there's actually substir in JavaScript. And there's substring. Substir extracts the character from the string beginning at the start and through the specified number of characters and returns the new substring. So substir is different than substring. Substring is a to and a from, and you can say optionally 0. So there's a couple of different ways to implement this. So I knew the -1 thing, but if you didn't and you just did substir, you could say 0, num. Starting at 0, go to num. So if I went to num plus 1, I would get he instead of h, and I would get Bob instead of Bo. So there's two different ways to solve that. And then let's move on to the next one. It's first word. And we're going to pass in a sentence, and then we're going to ask for the first word. So here's another thing, you're just going to have to get familiar with the JavaScript documentations. So if you know about a string, for instance, you're going to see on the string JavaScript objects, there's not too many, constructor length prototype, those things are always going to be round except for length. It's part of array, and I don't think number will have length. Nope, it has its own little things. And then these are all the string object methods. So there's something that we use, substr, and we use substring, and we've used toUpperCase. And there's also index of. So we can use index of to give us a position. So if we're looking for a word, then a word in a sentence is demarcated by a space. Let's just say that. That's what our test seems to indicate. Nothing too complicated. So let's do that. Let's return our sentence. And with a substring of a particular substr starting, let's do substr, starting at 0 and going to the first location. So sentence dot index of the first location of a space. There we go. That did it. So you can just go back to the show past. The first word of oh dear is oh, and hello world. So we ran index of on sentence, so give us the number where the space is, and then let's take a cut out of sentence from 0, remember it's 0-based indexing and strings and arrays, 0 to the start, not including the space. That's it, programmers. Thank you very much. That was part 2 of string spec.